Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Let me turn this down. There we go. Hey, what's good, everybody? It is your boy, Rapture. It's been a little while, been a little over a week. Apologies for that. We will get this underway in just a moment. Have a sip of my evening beer for the Daily Close Show. Like I was saying, though, I do apologize for the stretch in between these live sessions. I don't know if you lads are in my Telegram channel, but I had mentioned that my folks were in town. They've been visiting for the last week and a half. Dropped them back off at the airport today. So I've been a little bit preoccupied. I don't really get to see them that often. And my kids don't get to see them that often because we live different parts of the globe. So it was nice to have them come and visit and spend some time. And now I'm on solo dad duty because their mama is away for work as well. So it's been a hectic, busy little stretch of time. So I do apologize. But enough of that shit. Enough of that shit. Let's get to the real reason why y'all are here. Just a second. Let's switch this over. And bring my screen up. Sorry guys, it's been a little off my flow since I haven't done a stream in a little bit. Just bear with me. That's a shitty excuse though. Rap, what are you doing? What are you doing, Rap? Let's bring that up. Okay, that's better. There we go. There we go. Let me get rid of this caption here. Although, yes, please do like, subscribe, and comment to help support the growth of this show. Rough start there, Rap. I don't know if that you should lead with that. Anyways, it was left over on the template for this screen. Usually let that pop up later in the session. And what happened to the music? The music died off. Let's put some music back on. Let's switch it up a little bit. There we go. Let's put this on. There it is. Oh. It's that daily SFP on ETH, although it looks like it's poking above it. There's a daily SFP on BTC that popped up as well. We'll get into all that, though. Let's open this up on full mode. Look, I've been so preoccupied that my levels are just outdated right now. Guys, what are you doing, Rap? Come on, bro. Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game, Rapture. Take a look at the chat real quick. Munar says, GM Munar, how you doing, my homie? Good to see you. Always appreciate you joining in for these. Well, there's definitely been some movement on the chart. Looks like some crazy activity. I'll be honest, I have not been focused since my folks were in town. I keep having excuses. Rap, fuck that shit, man. Get your head back in the game. Get your head back in the game. Well, for those that have been following along for a while, you will know that I've also been obsessed, balls deep, brain deep, building out some systems in the AI field. I got like this whole stack that I've built. I've got my whole agent team that I've been building out to help me in my day-to-day workflow and also to help my business out. Fixtez. I hope I did not butcher that. Fixtez or Fikestez says, hello, I don't know where I found your TG channel, but here I am. First time watching. Let's see. Well, speaking of the Telegram channel, if you're not already a member, it's a free channel. You can go and find the link to that in the description if you're watching on YouTube. Rapture's Tradebook, or from my bio on Twitter. Also Rapture's trade book. You can find it on my bio on Twitter at Night the Rapture. It's a public channel where I do post more than I do on Twitter, although it's been pretty minimal posting lately. The posting is going to start increasing quite a bit. But enough of that. Let's pull this up over here, do the formalities of the intro. GM, and welcome to Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 24, the daily close show. We're not quite at the daily close. We got an hour and a half to go until the daily close. But ordinarily, yesterday would have ran the weekly close. And since we're a day behind, we might as well just get up to it now. We'll take a look at our high time frame levels and discuss some strategy across BTC, ETH, and SOL. I'm going to keep this to about an hour. Last time we kept it to an hour, and that was a good amount of time. I don't want to be wasting your time. Your time is valuable. I don't want to be wasting my time. It's also valuable. And I want to keep these underneath an hour. I've got a bunch of different show formats that I'm kicking around ideas that I want to start doing for much shorter, compact versions of shows. But this being a high time frame levels show, we're going to get through and mark out our high time frame levels of interest and perhaps take a look at any low time frame setups that might be presenting themselves. And don't forget, if you are looking for an exchange, consider the good folks over at BingX. Use code Rapture at bingx.com and get yourself some sign up bonuses where you can trade pretty much any asset, crypto asset, as well as a bunch of stonks and commodities with ridiculous amounts of leverage. I do not recommend using beyond 10x. That's my comfort level, but hey, you do you. Let's switch this over to here now. Let's take a look at weekly since we missed the weekly. So look at that. Right now I can see we're up pressing into a weekly level. Look at that we've SFP'd a few weeks back. That gave us a good response. We're up into it again and tagging that weekly range quarter level that we've had marked out for, what's it been now? 10 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks inside, trading inside that week. Let's get rid of the moving averages. Beyond that, not much else to update here other than we are into a high time frame level of interest. If we reject here again, we're looking for signs of that on low time frames. Where'd my music go? I gotta put it on repeat, that's why. There we go. We'll put that one on repeat. By the way, in the chat, just if anyone has any questions or anything they want to talk about, just pop it in there. I'm here to chat. So weekly, we're into that weekly level that got SFP'd 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 weeks back, or 4 weeks, I guess, which gave that good reaction. We're back up into that level and tagging that weekly range quarter level again. Another level of interest would be that one up there on weekly. Let's just pull this up here. Let's mark this now. Since we're getting close to it, we want to know about it. If we get up there and we SFP either of these, like we're into one right now, that will be a good trade. Nothing else to update on weekly here. Let's check out daily. Volume is good. Okay, so that's quite zoomed in. So a lot of levels that are no longer relevant. Like I was saying, lads, I have not been following as closely as I should be. I've just been so preoccupied. And I know I keep saying that for the last week or two, or a couple weeks. But it's the reality. I'm trying to build something useful for me, hopefully useful for you all as well. And it's just been commanding a lot of my time. There's been trades along the way. There's been a lot of trades along the way, but we're only interested in what we're dealing with right now. So given where we are, I think we can clear out this and clear out that. We can probably clear out that. That can stay. Let's keep that. This one, we're going to move up into here. Did that SFP yesterday? or today even. Did that SFP that level yesterday? No, it front ran it. Unfortunate, because that would have been a beautiful trigger, and I think we can get rid of this now too. Although what I want to do is we're going to move this up into here. Here's where we are right now. Okay, so like I was saying, we're into that weekly level. We're also into a daily level here. There's a little over an hour to go until close. If this SFP is the daily close, which I don't know, it's looking pretty strong. But if this SFP is the daily level here, as well as into these weekly levels, you'd have a pretty decent short on your hands. Let's clear a lot of this up. Let's just clear this right up. We've had too much on our chart for too long. It's time to start cleaning off some levels. We're going to keep our primary daily bearish range levels, swing high to swing low, marking out our primary range. This is a market structure break level. These are all just internal levels, right? Like we have monthly level, the thick, girthy gray lines are the monthly levels. Weekly are the thinner gray lines, right? We have our weekly range marked out with range quarters, as well as the inside week with range quarters. Well, we're into some range quarters right here and a weekly level. So what I mentioned at the top of the show was looking for signs of a reversal here into this level. Let's just take a look and see what we've got going on here. Okay, what is no, you know what, let's just keep going down the time frames. There's a beautiful H12 SFP there yesterday that gave beautiful follow through. Get rid of that level. Probably get rid of that. Let's just see what our primary H12 levels are right now. So that just sliced up and then through. So that is not relevant. There we go. Was that a daily level? No, it was an H12 level. You're really watching right here to see what happens. It's too early to say whether I would look to short this yet, given there's a lot of levels here, right? You have that weekly level, the weekly range quarter level, and the daily level right here. We'll keep going down the time frames and see what we got. So you had a long last night with that H4 SFP right there. Oh, Rap, you got to start paying more attention. Got to get your head in the game, bro. Look, and I'll show you what that looked like. You had this H4 SFP here. I guarantee you if we go down to M15, there would have been a textbook perfect entry. So you had a few options here. You either waited for the market structure breaker to confirm. Look at that, closed through, retested 2 candles later, textbook perfect retest and a boom. Or your other option was the market structure shift, which was right here. When you closed above there, you're longing the retest. Those are your 2 options. I know this is hindsight quarterbacking, and I do apologize that I was not available live for all this, but it is what it is. Here we are right now. By the way, can you guys tell me, is the microphone working? Is my microphone loud enough? I should probably have asked that a little while ago. Okay, so this trade is done. Nothing we can do about that here. What we're saying now, what I'm looking for now, is what's going to take place up here. Yes, it's working. And should I turn it down a little bit, Mr. Is it Fixtez or Fikes? I'm going to turn it down a bit since you're saying it's loud. Let's turn that down a little bit. Is that better? Is that a little less in your face? Is the music quiet enough as well? Thank you for responding, sir. So we've come in and we've taken out that weekly level. That was the SFP level from before. And we've tagged that weekly range quarter. Is that also a monthly level? Oh my God, is that a monthly level there too? And we are into a monthly level. There's a lot going on right here. Right? This is an underside retest of that monthly level that we already rejected off last month. We're back up into that level. Okay, so this puts, why is that not showing up here? Hold on. This needs to be current interval and below. Now when we put this on weekly, Boom. Okay, now that adds even more weight to right here. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So what I was trying to point out was we've come into a significant level here. There's no sign of a reversal here yet. There's no market structure break on any time frame. Maybe on M1. Nope, not even on M1. And M1 is too low of a time frame to be looking at here. What I see here is because the break level, let's be precise here, the market structure break, for a market structure breaker to confirm, it would be that. That's a long way of distance to travel before you get a confirmed market structure break. What I would suggest now is you wait for more candles to form here, pending this level not getting breached, right? You don't want to push above there because then we would have a new breaker to define. And again, it's not a confirmed breaker yet, but if you get some more candles forming here, the very first swing low that prints here, meaning a 3-candle pattern, right? The swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low. The very first swing low that prints in here, you anchor your breaker, your market structure shift style breaker, not a market structure break style breaker, from the top of the wick that creates the SFP on the high time frame to the bottom of the swing low wick of the very first swing low that forms after this price action. You box out that area, you get a close below that. That's your confirmed market structure shift style breaker. Then you have a short. Right now, there's no trade here. The trade was yesterday. It was this region down here that I outlined at the top of the show, right? This was your breaker. This was your market structure shift style breaker. So what we're looking for is just an inverse of this, right? So let's just be really clear about that so you understand. This wick right here is this wick right here, potentially. We don't have a swing low formed yet, but this wick right here is potentially this wick right here. And what I said was on this one, because the market structure break level was so high, right? It was that, which is almost identical to this. This would be your market structure break style breaker here. It's a large zone that you're waiting for a confirmed close below. And by the time that happens, you know, especially if we're trading low time frames, you're missing a lot of the move. Now this may violate this and we may not actually get this as the wick. We don't know yet. But for now, say this gives you a swing low here and this high holds as the high. If you get a swing low somewhere in here, you again get a market structure shift level that you can base you can frame your trade around when you get a confirmed close below, which is what this was. This was the first swing high after that SFP formed on the high time frame. This was the first low time frame swing high. When it closed above, that was your breaker, your market structure shift style breaker. You were looking for reasons to get long in here. And it gave you the long. And we just violated that top. Did it violate? It almost did. So this may invalidate this breaker, and in which case you just wait for the next setup. It's not about predicting. It's not about catching a knife. It's not about getting ahead of the move. It's about buying the confirmed reversal or shorting the confirmed reversal in this case. And that did not violate. So this breaker, this outlined area, which is not confirmed, let me reiterate, none of this is confirmed yet. This is still the valid region. So let's go back to H4 and let's update some more levels. And we'll keep an eye on that. So I think on H4 we keep that. What was the H12 level? That's the H12 level. We're going to keep that. This is so far away that we may not. Was that the daily level? Okay, that's an H12. That's a daily level. So we will keep that. We'll keep all those. Those are our levels of interest right now. There may even be an H4 level here that we could that we may also look for, right? What's the whole idea is we mark out as our high time frame levels that we think may be relevant, and if and or when price gets there, we're watching the low time frame interactions for signs of a reversal, and then we get on board the trade after the turn. Okay, well, that's BTC. Very interested in what's going on up here. Did that violate that? No, look at that. Still just below the box. So this is potentially going to become a valid breaker. Only with a confirmed close for the market structure break, close below here. Why is that? Because this is the swing low that created that SFP on low time frames, right? The higher time frame SFP, this is the swing low on low time frames that created that. But I don't want to use the market structure break in this instance because this is not very actionable PA. I want an internal range, swing low, to form in here to give us a market structure shift level that we can frame a trade around. As of right now, nothing doing here. But the meat of this move, this long, the meat of that move is already done. I would not be looking for longs here. Doesn't mean you have to be looking for shorts, but I would not be looking for longs here. If anything, you'd wait for a pullback to look for a long. So what might that look like? On higher time frames, like if this closes above here on daily, you'd be looking for a retest into this region here. But we can outline that later, not right now. Okay, that's BTC. Let me just zoom out so you can see the high time frame levels of relevance. Right, and that's good. We managed to clean off a bunch of levels that were stale. Right, some movement is good because then it gives you fresh levels to work with. This monthly level is definitely important though. So you're really watching this. This would, if there's going to be a place to look for the next short, it's in here somewhere. Okay, let's take a look at ETH. Look at that. I haven't touched these charts in a minute. Let's go and see. Still never got that sweep into that level on monthly, same as BTC. We were looking for that level to get taken out. Never happened. Anything here on weekly to update? No. If anything, we're looking for a tag up into that inside week range high. Okay, let's go to daily. Let's extend these out a bit. Oops. So ETH is looking stronger than BTC. We've got a lot of levels here that we can clear off. So immediately what I can see, let's bring this up here. This is going to become interesting. We have this level here that we're watching. Maybe SFP there. It's looking pretty strong. As SOL telling us SOL's putting in an SFP. Shout out to my high time frame swing screener pro. My custom built by me screeners that give me alerts for the high time frame SFPs as they're underway. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just marking out any high time frame level that over the next several days might be useful so that we can be prepared to react and respond and not trying to scramble when price gets to certain areas. Not having them pre-marked makes our life harder. So that's daily on ETH. I would monitor this level. Like if in the next hour, in 5 minutes, if it closes below there, you're looking for serious reasons to short. Okay, we need to clean this up. This is too much going on. There's too much going on. Look at that. You got an H12 SFP. Oh, no, that's off an H4 level. Let's just clean some of this up. Clean that up. Clean that up. This can come over here. Get rid of that. Okay, there's your H12 levels of relevance. Get rid of that. It's nice. It's nice when there's been displacement because we can clear off some levels that have been on the chart for too long, quite frankly. here. Okay, so this is interesting here. Look at that. Okay, so you're going to want to watch that level there on ETH. It's taking out that high. Same thing though. I'd be dropping down to low time frames to see what it's starting to look like. Now, the super early reversal on M1 will be a close below this box, confirming this M1 breaker with a market structure break below that level. Why that level? That's the swing low that created that high, which forms the wick of the high time frame SFP, right? The high time frame SFP being this H4 candle, this SFP right here. It's not a confirmed SFP. You have an hour to go, but if you get the confirmed market structure break, this is super early though, right? Like on M1, it's super low time frame. M5 you have here. There's your M5 breaker. M15 is probably, yeah, M15 is all the way down here. So it'd be a similar situation to BTC where I'd be looking for a market structure shift with an internal range swing low set somewhere here. We don't have that yet. It's way too early to tell, but maybe you get this M5 breaker to confirm. Meaning an M5 candle close, not just a wick, but a body close below this level here, making a market structure break, then you're shorting a retest. And you can look for secondary or third order signals within that box if you like more confirmation to get on board a trade. But that is the basic setup right there. Let's go back to H4. So any other levels I might want to mark out here? No, not really. This looks good. This looks good. I would be watching that like a hawk into the close. Let's take a look at Solana, which is telling us it's daily. Whoa, it's messy, messy, messy. Okay. Like I said, been a little while since I've updated me charts. SOL the weakest. SOL's weakest, right? Out of the three. ETH definitely the strongest. BTC looking pretty good too. ETH's a little bit stronger. SOL is looking Garbaggio. Nothing to update on weekly. Let's check out daily. So daily on SOL. We're into this daily bearish breaker that has been here. When did this confirm? Back on March 27th. So 2.5 weeks now. This level we can get rid of. This is irrelevant now. What I do see is this level here is super relevant. This may become relevant. Let's keep that. Let's zoom out. Let's get these daily levels pulled across a bit. Let's extend our range, right? Like this is our primary bearish range, swing high to swing low. It's bearish range because we've been making lower lows and we have yet to make a higher high. Now we're just sideways. Even though BTC and ETH are looking stronger, they're still just sideways, right? Like this is nothing special. When you zoom out of it and you take a look, you're like, oh, we're still down here. Yeah, we're still down here. So this is a bearish daily breaker on Solana. And according to my screener alert, we've got a daily SFP. So where is it? It's right in there. All right, this is the level you're watching here that is telling you. Right, there it is. Right, SFPing that level. That's that alert that popped up. Man, I tell you, my screener is money. So now the two ways you can look at this right now is Solana ripe for a catch-up trade, or is this bearish breaker going to stand? Fixed says, and I do apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I don't know. What trading concept strategies are you using for the things you are explaining? So it's a combination of things that I've learned over the last, I want to say 5 years of deep training and study and practice and refinement and trial and error, the broadest sense, the core to what I do was learned from Trader Main. Shout out to Trader Main. I used to say it was about 75% of the way that I trade was based around him, but now I'd say it's probably closer to like 60%, maybe even a little bit less, because I've refined it more towards my personal style, which is more based around high time frame levels and then low time frame intraday execution. All right, well, he'll do an H12 H1 setup, right? H12 SFP, then looking for an H1 breaker and market structure break. I like any high time frame level above H4, so H4, H12 daily, weekly, monthly. I mark those out, and then I'm just looking for the intraday interactions with those on low time frame. Typically, what that is an M15 market structure break. So those sort of things, like a breaker, you've probably heard a lot of like the ICT terminology. That's where a lot of that started from, but I don't follow along ICT and I don't trade specific ICT strategies. Just some of those concepts have stuck around. Like when I say supply and demand, another word for that is an order block, a bearish order block or a bullish order block. But that's also just another way of saying support and resistance, right? Like there's several different ways of describing something, but they're based around very similar concepts, because there's only so many things, unless you've got like a million indicators on your chart that tell you all kinds of different technical data, if that's what you're into. I'm not. I'm very purist about price action. But there's only so many things that you can see on a chart, right? It's time and price, especially if you're just a price action observer, right? It's time and price. You can add volume into the mix, and a lot of people, do a lot of work with volume, like order flow and TPO and volume profile, all that stuff. That's not my jam. My jam is very specific to a high time frame levels, right? Your monthlies, your weeklies. Now, I know that my charts can start having a lot of lines on them. And I used to be way more stripped back and just very purist, very minimal. But that wasn't practical from an execution standpoint. Like I figured out about myself that I really like executing trades on low time frame, specifically focused around high time frame levels though. So what that means is I need to have levels marked out so that when price gets to a level, and specifically horizontals, I'm not about diagonals, I'm not about trend lines and stuff like that, although I do use moving averages for low time frame execution. But for my primary setups and strategy, it's just horizontal levels. And if I don't have them marked out in advance, when price gets there, when price gets to a level, like if I didn't have that, I just moved that level there now. And like I said, I've been behind on marking my charts, but I'll typically be going through as swing levels occur and marking them out. If you don't have that in advance, you have no reason to be thinking there's a trade to be framed around that area, right? So let's keep going through and let's get rid of some of these old levels that are no longer relevant. I still think this one may become relevant. Look at that. We had a bullish H12 breaker that served as look at that. You even had a H12 bullish SFP within the H12 bullish breaker. And if you're wondering like what concepts like that are, like what is a breaker? A breaker is just an entry setup where you're looking for a high time frame level getting taken out and then a low time frame market structure break off of that level, which is where you're looking for, you could also call it a trend reversal, which is just you're looking for, if you're in an uptrend, the reversal of that would be a lower low being set. Or if you're in a downtrend, a reversal of that would be a higher high. And so when we're into something like this, so here, let's just take a step back and outline what happened here. You had a bullish, is that a daily or H12? You had a bullish H12 breaker, which was the swing high that took out a high time frame level, SFP'd, and then market structure break, closed above it, closed above that level there. This created this bullish breaker. Just like this is a bearish breaker, bearish daily breaker. This is a bullish daily H12 breaker. And then you came into here and you had an H12 SFP. Now if I had my shit together, now let's clear up some of this. This is a lot of old stuff. If I had my shit together when that took place, let's get rid of, okay, let's zoom out. Let's get rid of these H4 levels for now, because they're muddying up the chart. There's too much going on. There's another one that we can pull across. I'm monitoring this one. Get rid of that. Okay. So that level there, that's the H12 SFP, right? It's the same thing, just on H4. So we're going down in time frames. You're seeing the price action on lower time frames. If we go down to M15, as you came down into here, creating that H12 SFP, which is the low, let's see, that's 81.23. What is this? 81.24. So this was the low. This was the low. Where's the swing high that created that? Well, the swing high that created that is all the way up here. It's here, actually. That's not as useful to us because it's a big gap. Now you can use that as your market structure break, and you can see as soon as you closed above, you retested again, and put in another SFP within the breaker. That was your long. But we also had a earlier trigger, which, as I've mentioned a few times today, about market structure shifts, which is the first swing level after the swing low is formed that creates the high time frame SFP, which makes this the swing low, and you're just waiting for the first swing high to form. In this instance, the very first swing high, which is a 3-candle pattern, was this right here, right? Why was it none of these? Well, because a swing level is a very specific 3-candle pattern that involves, hold on, get this out of the way. So a swing pattern, a swing low is a low, a lower low, and a higher low, wicks included, right? Just bear with me for what these look like. They're not going to be pretty. This is just a crude example. That's a swing low, right? You get your low, your lower low, your higher low, or a high, low, high, right? Including the wicks, that's a swing low. And the flip side of that, a swing high is just this. That's a swing high. It's a very specific candle pattern, right? You have to have a low, a lower low, a higher low, or a high, a higher high, a lower high to complete the 3-candle pattern. So when I say that, now that gives you context for why this was the first swing high that formed after that swing low. So this is your market structure shift style breaker. And as soon as you closed above, right here, you got your long trigger, which is a retest of the box. Now you even got second and third triggers, but that is your very basic entry for a breaker. And right now, we're watching to see if we get something similar into one of these levels up here. Because as you said, you're new to my channel and new to following along on one of my videos. I'm not about multi-day swing trading. I'm about intraday trades, low time frame execution off of high time frame levels, giving you very high probability and high risk to reward and low chance of drawdown, and low minimizing drawdown, and minimizing being underwater, and cutting trades that go against you quickly because we're just following along with price action. Now, this particular show is more high time frame focused and not low time frame execution. But I've walked through some of the concepts that I use. So right now you're watching here. There's also another level just up here that you may want to watch, right? Oops. There we go. I don't care what the level is. At the end of the day, I don't care which level it is. I could give a shit if it's this level, if it's that level. I could give a shit. What I care about is, what does price do when it gets to that level? Does it give me something I can trade to trade the trend, to trade the price the other direction? That's what I look for. It doesn't matter to me what the level is. It doesn't matter to me what price is. It doesn't matter to me what the level is. Now, the higher the time frame, right? I like a daily level more than I like an H4 level, but they're still very valid. Now, why I don't mark below H4 is because below that, that's just noise to me. Those are execution timeframes where I'm looking for setups. H4 and above is the time frame that I'm looking for signal, the signal being interaction and SFP or sweep into that level. Well, right now we're getting a potential SFP, and there's a cluster of levels here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually pushes up a little bit more before giving you the turn, but you can see this level, right? If you didn't have that level marked out, if price got there, you'd be like, well, why is it anything happening here? Why is it stopping here? It's also useful for exits, right? Like if you had the long from down here and you start getting into here, and then all of a sudden you get a low time frame breaker and market structure break. Now, what I like about this right now is this is starting to give us something a little bit more localized to that level that we might be able to frame a breaker off of on M5. Now, keep in mind, M5 is low time frame, right? So the higher the time frame, the higher the signal. M5 is pretty low time frame, but it is a good execution time frame. Let's see what M1 is doing. Yeah, so M1 gave you and confirmed a bearish breaker right there, but it's still above the high time frame level and swept that. This is why M1, the 1 minute time frame, can be useful, but it's a little bit more risky. But your risk reward is super tight, right? So you know when to cut, you barely lose anything if you scale your position size accordingly, right? Like on an M1 trigger, on an M1 setup, you don't put a full position. You put like a quarter position. And if you start to confirm on down into higher time frames, then you start adding to the position to get your full position. But at least if you want your trigger to be that tight, you have something on in case it does start to travel with your intended trade positioning. Or if it takes it out, you're losing a quarter of your full position size. Who the fuck cares? And you just wait for the next trigger. And if your thesis is correct, but your execution wasn't quite right, the next version of it, you just wait for an M5, which would be this, an M5 close below there. Then you put on your full position size with a little bit more confidence behind the trade, and you recoup whatever you lost on that quarter size position, and then some. It's all about perspective, right? Like you're not putting full position sizes on M1. Even though, look at that. All right, the breaker is doing what it should do. That's the M1 breaker, right? It came back, retested, and sold off, but it is a risky version of this trade because less than an hour to go until the high time frame level closes. So you don't really want to be tempting it with being so close to the actual daily close, because you want that SFP to be actual. You want it to actually close below there, and M1 is low time frame, right? At minimum, personally, I prefer M5. What I really love is M15 lately, but like I said, the swing low is down here, so we need a market structure shift style breaker. But lately, M15 is where I do most of my execution these days. But you can keep an eye out on that to see what happens if that M5 breaker confirms. And what does that mean, confirms? It just means you get an M5 close below that level there. Close below. Maybe you get some more price action like that. Then you get a retest up into there. This is what I'm looking for to short. All right. Hopefully that explains it for you, Fixtez. And I do hope that I'm not butchering your handle. Are there any other levels on H4 here that I would look for on Solana? No. Okay, so that's our high time frame levels across BTC. And look at that level. Let's take a look and see what's been taking place. So it breached, right? So it invalidated this top of this breaker that I had initially. It invalidated that. What you have now is another push up into that daily level, right? What did I say? Or it was an H4 level. I said, that level may become interesting. Well, look at that. It took it out. So just like on Solana, how we had that M5 area boxed out, not confirmed yet, but this is the same thing on BTC. This is the swing low that created that H4 SFP. Golden Nugget 2031. The breaker is just the red candle that swept the level. I mean, the red candle before the move that swept the level. So for a bearish breaker, yeah, it's the swing here. Let me break it down exactly here. On BTC here, this is the high time frame SFP, right? Like this is the H4 level. So what we're trying to do is find the trend reversal as close to the confirmed close of that SFP, but it can happen before, right? So what you're doing is, what is the move that created the SFP on low time frames, right? We're looking at a high time frame SFP, H4. What is the low time frame swing low that created the SFP? Now, why do I look for that? Why is that important? Well, because, so we'll box it out. That's the swing low that created that H4 SFP, unconfirmed H4 SFP, but that is the swing low that created the SFP. If you get a close below here, all of a sudden, this whole region where people were buying, hoping for a breakout, are underwater. Another way of saying that is you have trapped longs, trapped late aggressive longs, market longs, right? People that are trying to market long the breakout, if you close below that, they're underwater. What you want to do is not be these late FOMO buyers. You want to trade against them if you get the confirmed reversal, which would be a close below that box. Just like I was showing on Solana, you get a close below here on M5. You're looking to short a retest into here. And what that looks like, who knows, right? You just have to let price do what it wants to do. You just have to let price unfold. You can't predict. It's not what everything that I do is never about prediction, because prediction is not my thing. And trying to predict price action will get you wrecked more times than not. But if you're buying or selling with a confirmed trend reversal, and all that means is a market structure break off of a high time frame level or a market structure shift, depending on how far away the level is, right? Like on M15, if we zoom out, again, the market structure break level is all the way down here. Not very useful to us, because then, especially in the way the market's trading these days, where moves are not as exaggerated as they used to be, and they're short and sweet, and you kind of want to get in, capture the meat, and get out. Well, here's your M5 breaker. It's not confirmed, and if this breaches the top, if it violates the top of that wick, then that breaker is invalidated. And if it happens to stay around this level, well, then you just wait for the next, you mark out the next breaker version of that, right? Which would be possibly, like, this is just a possible scenario, because like I said, it hasn't happened. But say this candle goes up and takes that out, takes out that high. Well, then your new low would be this to whatever that high ends up being, if it gets back below there, right? But for now, this is what we're working with. So if you get a confirmed close on M5 below here, you're shorting a retest. Hopefully that explained it. Golden Nugget 2031. Good handle. Golden nugget. But price is looking strong here, but that can be deceptive, right? Because it could just chop around here now. And even if this particular outline box doesn't hold, it could just be the next one that forms, right? I never put myself in a position where I say to myself, this has to be what happens. And I never put myself in a position where I'm trying to predict. I just like to respond to what happens at the level. It just makes my life easier. It's stress-free. You know, I'm not trying to claim clout and put things on the internet and be like, see, I told, like, it's not anything about that. It's all about just letting price tell you what it wants to do when it gets into that high time frame level. Because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if Trump's going to tweet some shit or if news is going to drop that whatever, right? Any number of circumstances. We can't predict any of that. What we can do is trade with a confirmed turn. And we can do that on low time frame. The key though, is off of a high time frame level. Anything below H4 is noise to me. Like, yeah, you can do an H1 SFP strategy with M1 execution. It's a lot less reliable though than getting a high time frame level. And the high time frame levels aren't difficult to do. Just after every H4 candle close, if you get a new swing level, just mark it out and travel along price as it's happening and mark out your H4 and above levels, right? At every daily close, do you have a swing level? Do you have a swing point? At every H12 close, do you have a swing point that you can use? That way, it just takes away a lot of the in-the-moment anxiety or second guessing or over analyzing or FOMO, that if you have your high time frame levels marked down in advance, you just let price do what it wants to do. And if or when it gets to a level, like see how we sliced through that level here, right? So if I go down to low time frames, what happened there? It came there, did that, it wicked it, and then immediately closed above it after. So there was no even intention of thinking that there was a trade there, right? Here there was, but then you never confirmed anything and it pushed back above. Life just becomes a whole lot simpler and less, like, more stress-free and less performance anxiety about trading when you view it that way. And just realize there's always another trade. So if you say you miss one trade, who gives a shit, right? There's always another trade. But the key thing is just being prepared and understanding what you're looking for when price gets into the level. And it just doesn't matter what the level is, provided it's a high time frame level. And on that, enough of my rant. I hope that all makes sense. I do appreciate the questions from Fixtez and Golden Nugget, both new names. So I appreciate you stepping up and asking some questions to get a little bit of clarity. And hopefully what I've discussed and what I've outlined makes sense. This is from, going on 5 years of me figuring out a strategy that works for me, and that's repeatable and consistent and aligned with my lifestyle. I'm a little bit older now. I'm in my 40s and I've got kids, and I don't want to be chasing every move and taking trades that I shouldn't be. I want to be just stress-free, peaceful, letting price do its thing and responding to it when it gets somewhere that I'm interested in. Let's take a look back over here. So let's zoom out. I didn't look at SPX. I don't really want to right now. Good move though over the last couple days off SPX, but I'm more interested in what majors are doing. And as you can see, so ETH is above with just over half an hour to go. It's above the high time frame level. BTC is into one, and Solana is just above it. So as of right now, there's no trade here yet, but there is signal and a potential trade. You just have to wait for the low time frame setups to form. I'll post these charts in my Telegram channel. If not tonight, then I'll do it first thing tomorrow morning, but likely I'll be able to put them up tonight. I got to go pick up my daughter from ballet in a little bit and hang out with my kids. But likely later tonight, I'll be able to post the charts. Let's do a quick recap. We've been doing the daily close show, and the daily close is coming up in just over half an hour. So remember, take a look at your high time frame levels, mark them out, and see what happens. If you get those breaker setups, M5, M15, mark them out, box them out. You get a confirmed close, confirming the breaker. In this case, since we're looking for shorts on all three, a confirmed breaker would be a close below on the time frame that you've marked it out. So whether that's M15 or M5, but be aware of the higher time frame context. Like if you mark out an M5 breaker, zoom out to M15 and just make sure that there isn't a swing level right below or near that M5 level, because perhaps it turns into an M15 SFP and then reverses on you, right? Like this is just context. We looked at our high time frame levels and discussed some strategy. Looked at some potential trades that we're into, where prices right now across BTC, ETH, and Solana. Don't forget, if you're looking for an exchange, go head over to the good folks at BingX, bingx.com, use code Rapture, and get yourself some of those sign up bonuses. And also, don't forget, if you enjoy this show, to like, subscribe, and comment and help support growth. Now, I know my consistency in streaming has been lower output for the last few weeks. That's going to be changing really soon. I've got a lot of ideas, and I want to be compacting these into shorter streams and some pre-recorded stuff with some of these concepts, a little bit more complete packages. Like how to figure out a breaker, how to mark out your high time frame levels, like quick, 5-minute videos that drill down directly into the concepts so that you can learn from those and grab them and go. We just hit our hour mark. Awesome. And we are wrapping this up. So I do want to say thank you to everyone that joined, and a big appreciative thanks to the lads that asked the questions in the chat. And also, don't forget, follow me on Twitter at NightTheRapture, or if you're looking for the Telegram channel, you can find the link in the description to this video on YouTube or in my bio if you're joining from Twitter. And I want to wish you all a pleasant evening, and we'll catch up soon. Fixed test says it does, but of course, I still need manual review. That's fine. It's all about repetitive. It's about having a process and a strategy that's easily repeatable. And that's what makes it simpler. You have your levels, you see the setup, you take the setup. And on that, lads, I am out. Ciao. Have a good evening.